Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Elsie and thank you for following me from Instagram onto this channel. As I promised you today, we are going to be talking about preparing yourself to study in the United States of America and how students' life is. So some of the challenges that I faced when I came and some of the joy and some of the, my general overview and experiences are what I'm going to share with you today. So first and foremost, I'll say that education is expensive in the US. So don't think that just as you be in your country and you can afford a couple of schools, it's the same thing here. You are converting your currency, more of your currency to be able to afford education in the US. It is expensive. Let me just put that out there so you know. So with education being expensive, it's also necessary that you know and do your research into the school that you're going to apply to. So you don't just wake up and apply to the school, right? You need to know the course that you want to do. You need to know something about the faculty. And I mentioned faculty because if you are like me and you do not have money, you require funding for your education. So wanting funding for education means that getting to know the faculty who is going to sponsor your education or give you funding to pay your fees and also get money for stipend or take care of yourself in general. So it's necessary that you do your research into the school. Education being expensive is not just about the fees, it's not just about your living expenses. Before you decide that you want to go to this school in the United States, you would have been prepared, know the course that you want to do. Also, there's something called paying the registration fee or application fee for any school that you want to enter in the US. You would have done your research and known if you need a GRE, if you don't need it, your application fee, how much it costs. So doing your research will help you to cut down costs so that you don't apply to 10 schools. You would have wasted about $1,000 applying to 10 schools and you won't even get into one. So it's better to do your research and get to know the school's wants and needs from the students. So if they want you to have GRE, if they want you to have GMAT, if they want you to have all the other exams that you need to write to be able that makes you ready to enter their system. Also, it's very important that you get to know if the school can help you a bit. That's if funding exists in the school for you to be able to attend, because you won't be able to pay, let's say, $15,000 every semester. That's a lot of money. Well, from where I'm coming from, Ghana, converting 15,000 US dollars to Ghanaian cedis is a whole lot of money for a young girl like me. I cannot afford it. So it's very important that you have, in doing your research, you get to know the faculty that exists in your department or the course that you want to do, and start sending emails to them so that they can you can kind of sort of build a rapport. And when you get here, it's easier to get funding, or you can get funding before you come here. Like me, I got funding before I came to the US. So it also helps you in your visa application, because most often than not, if the um, the embassy in your country does not see that you can afford to have an education in the US, they are most definitely not going to give you a visa. But if they see that you have funding or you have support from the school that you're going to attend, it's much easier for them to also give you the visa to enter the country. It's also necessary that in your emails that you send, you also send an email to, we call something ISO, which is International Students Office. Every school has how they term their ISO, but we called ours ISO, and I think it should be the same for a lot of schools. And ISO basically handles all international students. So if you're coming from Afghanistan, Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, anywhere in the world, you go through these people. So far as you're not from the US, you go through this particular office, and their purpose is to help you to make your transition into the US easy. In doing so, they give you documents that you fill out and all that. One thing that I require or I'll say every student entering the US should do is to also request for contacts of people from their nation. So like me, if I know somebody, if I know they have Ghanaian students, I'll ask, can you please send me contacts of female Ghanaian students that I can connect with as I prepare myself to enter the United States. It's easier to get them to give you these contacts because you can now also begin to build a rapport with the people from your nation when you get here. They have been here before you, so it's not like you're seeking advice. But when you get here the first 2 weeks and you don't have a place to stay, you can, what we call patch, you can patch with them or stay with them as you prepare yourself to come. So always be willing to ask questions. Don't feel afraid, because here, if you don't ask anybody something, you don't get. Nobody, you won't be there and somebody will say, hey, I have funding. You'll be there and somebody will say, hey, I'm from Ghana or I'm from here. So you need to ask relevant questions. You need to ask questions pertaining to your wants, pertaining to the things that you need. That's the only way that you're going to get help. So that's that. Don't expect that people will want to stretch their hands to also help you, because here people get paid based on their work, and so they don't know you from Adam. It will be difficult for them to stretch for their hands, except God touches their heart some way, somehow. But yeah, it's difficult for people. Even sometimes when you have family, it's difficult for them to support you here, because they also have like a lot of bills to pay and all that. So to reduce most of these stress from you coming in fresh and you not having family or anything, it's incumbent on you to make sure that you build a rapport with these people before you get here. Apply to schools that you have family or close friends around. Make sure that wherever you're applying to, your home isn't too far away. By home, I mean you have some family somewhere that's like 5 hours away. Everywhere in the United States is far, and I wouldn't lie. For you to move from one city to another city, it takes hours. For you to move from one state to another state, it takes longer hours. So if you have family in the United States in general, it's easier for you, because then at least they can support you a little bit. Like I said, everybody's working for their money and they have bills to pay, so they can support you a bit. But at least if they are closer, you can get a home to stay in for a few times when you haven't really climaxed or started the journey of making money yet. So if you're closer to friends or family, it cuts down on the bills for you. And they're also able to advise you and give you some gigs. As international students, you are unable to work. When you get here, you're unable to work. You're unable to do anything. All you can do is to go to school. And if you are lucky to get funding, that's where your source of money comes from. So it's very important that you have some close friends and family around that can support you. And for those who do not have any close friends or family, my advice is that you learn a skill, right? In the US, everything is taxed. It will be illegal for you as an immigrant to start going to look for jobs. If you're caught, you can be taken out of the system or deported back to your country. So the right thing for you to do, as I would advise, is that you learn a skill. You learn something handy, something that you can do and you won't require going to look for a job. The reason why I say this is every individual in the United States has something we call the Social Security number. And what that number does is, if you're going to look for a job, that's the number they use to pay you. And so if the system finds out that you are getting paid when you're not supposed to be paid, it's like it's an alarm, and that can get you deported. So learn a skill, and when you get that skill, you can, if it's barbering, that you can do as a gentleman. If you know how to cut hair, you learn how to cut hair very well. And when you get here, you can use that. You can trim the hairs of the American guys, even the girls that do down cuts, or just do something on your own. So in this case, you're not looking for a job outside, you're rather creating a job for yourself, and every time you have some money coming in. If you're a lady, I'll say learn how to braid, because braiding and doing your hair, it's very expensive. Learn to do something that can create some sort of, give you some money when you're broke, or when you do not have anybody to support you, or when your funding or your stipend is not able to support you as much. So you can do braiding, haircuts. You can, if you know how to do pedicure, you go in, because 90% of girls in the US always fix their nails. You have long nails, short nails, whatever. They are doing their nails. They are doing their feet. They are doing their hair. learn to do makeup, learn to make clothes. So for me, coming to the US, my friend Akle made all my clothes. I already knew how to do makeup and hair. So most of the hair that you see me on my Instagram, I either make it myself or my friends make it. Most of the clothes that you see me wear, my friends make it. So I don't have to spend a lot. I can tell you for a year straight, I did not go to a shop, say I'm buying clothes or anything. No. I made sure that whatever I had, I was using it, because it's not easy to be an international student and be spending a lot. So make sure that you're coming in with a skill. And that is going to save you from deportation, because that money is not going to reflect on social security. That money is not going to be taxed. If I tell you, if I make your hair, you pay me $70, you're paying me $70, no tax. Nobody's taxing that money. If I tell you pay me $30, that's going straight into my account. Nobody is going to monitor it, because that's what I'm doing. It's not that I'm getting it from the system. Do you understand? So it's easier that we learn a skill that's going to make your life easier. I've already spoken about connecting with students and also connecting with faculty. One other tool I'll say that everybody should use is LinkedIn. LinkedIn also allows you it puts the faculty's life out there. It puts most students' life out there. So if you feel like you don't want to go through the ISO office or the International Students Office, you can just go on LinkedIn, type North Carolina A&T, or type whatever school you're going to, get to find out the people or the students and the faculty and connect with them from there. That's much easier. Next thing I'll say is preparing also to get your visa or connecting with these people. Some of the important reasons why you need to connect with students from your nation that you can trust is there's something you need to pay before you enter the US. It's called the Savers Fee. And that Savers Fee, you can't pay it in your country. It's only done in the US. So if you do not have family, if you do not have friends already in the US, it's going to be difficult for you to make such payments. And so having somebody you can connect with on LinkedIn or contact from ISO is going to help you to be able to make this payment. That's the only way you're going to get your visa to be able to travel to the US. Another advice I'll give in preparing to come to the US, I don't know if I've already mentioned that you should save. Save, save, save. Very important. Save, save, and save. Make yourself prepared. Have some cash on you before you come, because nobody is going to give you a penny if they don't know you. You can't be homeless. They will take you back home, because you stated that you are ready to come to the US and you can pay your fees, or you're getting some support, but you can also support yourself this way. So you cannot come and be a burden on the state. That's how they call it, a burden on the state, so they can remove you and take you back to your country. So please remember to save. Remember to do your research. Remember to ask questions. If you do not ask questions or insist on what you want, you're not going to get it. Nobody is going to assume that this girl wants this or this girl needs this. You need to ask questions. You need to know what exactly you want before you get it. Also, make sure that whoever you connected with, you maintain good friendship with the person, because getting to be here and ruining friendship can follow you. It has this trail that you can be on that trail for a while. So make sure that you maintain good friendship, because it's not easy leaving family back at home to live somewhere else with no family, no friends. It's going to be a bit difficult. So learn to maintain good networks, make new friends from your class when you get here, from your departments. Make friends with faculty, make friends with people from other departments, because then that network is also going to help you when you're done with school and securing a job or going to further to do a PhD or postdoc, whatever you want to do. Those networks are going to really help you. The next thing that I'll say or advise people to do is get to know if the embassy in your country has an educational center. I say this because going to your embassy as a civilian can put you in some stress, especially if you're going to school and you do not have funding. I'll use myself as an example. So when I applied to the school, I initially didn't have funding. I didn't get any support. I just came in on my own, applied, and then I got in. And before I started chatting with or emailing a professor, so when I got my I-20 is a document they give you to show that you have admission, and that's what you take to the embassy with the service fee. Service fee, as I mentioned, is what somebody has to pay for you in the US, and you take with your I-20 to the embassy to show that you're ready to come to the United States to school. So when I got mine, I didn't have funding. I went for my first interview. I went as a civilian, like normal person going for an interview, and I was bounced. By bouncing, I didn't get the visa. And so I was a bit frustrated, and I came back and spoke to my IR. So imagine when they bounced me and I'm like, I'm not going to ask questions, or I do not want to go. Why? I don't like the disgrace I faced because I didn't get the visa. No, I kept asking questions. I went the second time. This time I had gotten funding, but it did not reflect on my I-20 because I still had the old I-20 with me, and it didn't state that I had money. It's just a letter that my professor I was going to work with gave me. And yet again, it didn't give me the visa. So I was actually angry. Some of the things I did, I'll share with you later. Going to the ambassador's house, like I was really frustrated. I wasn't allowed to see him. Kind of crazy a bit because I was frustrated. But the third time, I spoke with the school and told them I need a new I-20 or else I'm not going to be given the visa. That's the only way that shows that I'm not forging these documents, and then it also shows that the school is going to fund me or give me this money for my education. So then the school sends me in a few days, I think 3 days, they sent me a new document, and I took to the embassy, and then I got my visa, and then I came here the following 2 or 3 weeks later. I relocated to North Carolina and started my education at A&T. So it's important that you get to know that your embassy has an educational center. And so the third time when I was going to the embassy, I went through the educational center. What they do is they take your I-20 and every document that you have and show you some of the things that they'll ask you relevant questions about the school and other things, and make copies of your I-20 and your funding documents. Take all necessary documents that you need, take it along with you, and then they will make copies. So on the day of your interview, the consular already knows who you are. They already have your documents, and they've already thought about approving it for you. So you don't have to go through the process like everyone else is going through. You go through the educational center because that center was created for people that want to study in the US. So you have to go through there if you want to come study in the US. So it makes it much easier for you to get your visa and get the things you need to get ready before the day of your interview. So go through that. Make sure you have savings. Make sure you have connected with faculty and you have funding, or else your life is going to be very miserable, except you're very rich and you can afford your education in the US because it's expensive. Make sure you're also connecting with friends. Make sure you're connecting with people that can support you when you get here. On support, I think that if you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. So if you're a Christian, you can also go to your Christian group. Go to a church that you're familiar with. I should say that my church really supported me. When I came in, I already had like an apartment that I was moving in with just my clothes and a bed, a mattress and a bed. But my church supported me with a steady desk. They supported me with a shoe rack, a couple of other things to make my stay very interesting. They visited me often. They made sure that I was okay. I go to a white church. There are other African churches around. There are other, whatever church you go to, trust me, you find, if you're Muslim, trust me that you find your mosque here, you find your any place of worship, you find it. Make sure that you're involved so they know you, because if you don't have family here, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to adjust when you get here, because all you know is going to class, going to work for your professor, and then after that you'll be bored. But imagine you also don't have a car, but your church group can support you. They'll pick you up, take you wherever you want to go, and then bring you back. They'll support you in whatever way that they can. I've been lucky a couple of times. I've got some checks, I've got some support, real support from my church. So I'll just say that make sure that you have that group that supports you, and you're not always working with the same people, like let me say Africans all the time. It's necessary. You live with them, but you also need to open your wings, your tentacles. Make sure that you grab opportunities. This is the land of opportunity. And so you'll be able to adjust well when you get to meet the right people, network with the right persons. So this brings me to the end of preparing to come to study in the United States. And I hope this helped a bit. To do a quick recap, make sure that you've done your research into the school. Make sure that you're not spending a lot of money on application fees, because you know that this school, this faculty has funding and they're going to support you. That's one. Two, make sure that you also have saved, because savings is important. It's going to help you in your first few weeks when you arrive here. Make sure that you have connected not just with faculty but also people from your country that you can trust to help you with the payments of your savings fee, because you can only pay for it in the United States. Make sure that you have learned a skill. Very important, because that's the only way when you're stranded. That's the only thing that can help you when you start something on your own, because you get paid. We call it getting paid under the table. That's the only way you get paid. Make sure that you're asking the right questions, because that's is also the only way that you can be helped. Make sure you join a group, whether it's a church group, a mosque group. Join a group that can support you when you're in need, because no man is an island. Sometimes it really gets lonely when you don't have your family here, and you need that support. People that you can go out with, have fun with, worship with. That support system is very, very important. Make sure you're using the educational center in your country's embassy. Make sure you're using LinkedIn to find whoever you need to find around your school. And in the end, I know that your stay is going to be smooth. It's not going to be 100% smooth, but you'll be at peace. These are some of the things that I did before I came. These are some of the things that I'm into before, whilst I was in school. So I graduated in May, and now I have a job. So you can do the same things, and you can be lucky or you can be better off. So I'll leave you with these few advice, and I hope that my next videos can answer some of the questions that you throw at me, and also answer some of the things that you need me to answer. Thank you for staying with me, staying through this video with me and doing this with me. Kindly remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Elsie Imperi, and follow me on Instagram at Elsie Imperi. Thank you and have a nice day.